Let me demonstrate for you how this new hot foiling tool works. I just love it. So the first thing we have to do is plug it in. So the platform comes with its own little power strip and connector here, and it needs to warm up. And they say this takes 6 to 7 minutes for this plate to heat up, and you let it just sit there and heat up. You put it on the little silicone mat, which I've done there. And when I put my hand over it, I can feel it is getting hot. So you want to just be careful, I think, not to touch that gray part of the system. I am going to follow the directions. So I've made about 3 or 4 little samples just to try it out. And for me, I find I'm still in that phase of wanting to be reminded which steps to do when. So the instructions show you the different pieces. And on my earlier video, I did not know what to call this little tool. They call it the magnetic pickup tool. I think I called it Charlie. But that comes with it. And then there's another little mat that you can put your dies on after you use them. And it comes with a shim. It's called a hot foil shim. And then a hot foil spacer. And these you'll use after everything's hot to push it through the Stampin' Cut and emboss machine. So I'll show you that. This is one that I already made. So I used the silver foil on Secret Sea cardstock. And I hope you can see it's really nice. Very, very shiny. There you go. And so I thought that came out really well. I do think the foils really stand out on dark cardstock because it's hard to stamp something on dark cardstock and get a good image. You can use white ink, a white pigment ink, and that works well. But you don't have too many options. So now you'll have a gold, silver, and pink option for that. So let me show you what we'll be using here after this heats up. I'm going to just make 2 samples for us using the Classic Greetings hot foil dies. We're going to use, let's see, I'm going to actually try to do 2 at once. I haven't done that yet. I think it'll work no problem. I'm going to use the Celebrate and Happy Birthday. I have them sitting here ready to go. And then after I also bought this set, so I'm not going to use that one today, but I'll make another video with that. After we emboss the cardstock, then we'll use these die cuts to cut out around the words. And then we'll end up with something like this. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using Gorgeous Grape cardstock. And I'm going to skip the video forward here so you don't have to wait for it to heat up. So I should say that when you plug it in, the first thing you're going to see is everything will kind of flash on. And then the white button will stay solid and the red button flashes while it's heating. And then what we're waiting for is for the white timer button to start flashing, and the red light will go solid, and that'll tell us when it's ready to use. Okay, so another couple minutes went by, a minute or so, and the machine beeped, and now the white timer button is flashing. So I need to keep looking at the instructions to sort of get these steps right. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our foiling plates down onto the gray. And I'm going to put mine kind of far apart just to make sure I don't overlap there. And we press the timer button, and now we're waiting for these plates to get heated up from the platform below it. And this takes just about a minute or so. And then the white light and the red light stay lit while this is heating. The yellow light is flashing, and when it's ready, the platform will beep again and the green light will turn on and all the lights will be lit, and then we'll move to the next step. Okay, so my heating is finished. All the lights are on. The machine just beeped it to let me know. And now we go on to the next part, which is layering our foil and then the cardstock we want to transfer onto. So I've cut out my foil to be, just a little bit bigger than the die I'm going to use. You can use a whole sheet, but I think it makes sense to try and get as close to the size you need as you can to stretch your foil further. So we're going to make a little sandwich here now by putting down the foil over the heated plate. All right, and then we're going to put cardstock on top of it. So this is gorgeous grape cardstock that I'm using with the silver foil. And you just want to lay things on there and be careful not to move them around too much. I'm not sure if that's, well, we'll see. I might not have that over the die completely. And then we're going to make a sandwich so we can put it through the cut and emboss machine. So we unplug it and we put the hot foil shim down on top of our paper and foil, and then the little spacer. And now I'm going to bring over my machine. Let me see. Normally, I would just be lifting that plate over to my machine. I want to stay under the camera here. So this is just the regular old cut and emboss machine. I take the whole plate, and you want to be, as careful as you can not to shift everything around. I haven't had that problem yet, but I imagine it'll smudge if you kind of move too much. So I'm just pressing just lightly to get that started, and then crank it through. It does say to go slowly. It's not a very tight fit compared to embossing folders. So you just crank that through. It's not hot when I kind of use my fingers to pull this out a little bit, but definitely be careful. And then, see how I lifted that up? Sometimes this stays on top of the plates, and sometimes it sort of comes off, stuck to the shim, which is fine. So this is where you use that little tool to take your heating plates off of the platform, and you push the little button to release it onto this other silicone mat. And now we're ready to look at our masterpiece here. So I'm gonna pull this back out of the way, and I'm setting that back on the little silicone mat that it comes on. That'll keep my desk from getting hot. So now we get to peel it off and see the magic. Look at that, that's beautiful. Celebrate. And hopefully this one came out good too. Happy birthday. So neat. And now we'll use the die cuts and we'll cut these out. So once you have the foil bonded onto the cardstock, then it's just as if you had stamped it in a way. You take your coordinating die, and we'll get that centered over. We'll tape it down, and we'll cut out these. So you use the normal sandwich you would use for die cuts. The platform, I don't know, what are they called? The one plate, the nice big thick one, and then the two plate, the little thin white one, and then one of the three acrylic kind of cutting mats, and then another one of the threes on top. So 3, meaning this plate. I think these are pretty easy to get centered. I know I like the letter and number one, sort of does a little thin outline that really helps with this. But you just want to make sure you see all your letters. And I use a little bit of Post-it tape to hold my dies down. And then just run this through the machine to cut out the shape around your nice shiny letters. So here we go. This makes really beautiful sentiments, especially for a card where you want to use the dark cardstock. So happy birthday. And then celebrate. Look how adorable that is. I mean, it takes a couple of minutes, but it really comes out great. And I think the more I get used to it, you know, the quicker it'll go and the less mistakes I'll make. I hope you love this machine as much as I do. I will try and use it on lots of my cards in the near future so you can see all the different dies and sentiments and designs that are available and the different color combinations with different foils and different cardstock. So let's celebrate Tina's new toy.